Okay, so you've held so many leadership positions, and I think the one that lives closely to what you are, running towards now is the fact that you were mayor in Cape Town, and you won an award for World Mayor of the Year in 2008. It's something people don't speak about.
That's wild.
Often. Are you the head of your WhatsApp group as well in your neighborhood, the Neighborhood Watch? Because any leadership position for you is good to go.
Well, I'm always around to try and make a difference to where I live, where I work, and the country that I was blessed to be born in.
So where do you live?
I live in Pinelands in Cape Town currently, and I'm going to be living in Emmarentia, Johannesburg from very soon.
Okay, because that's what the thing I wanted to ask.
Yeah.
That you can't run for mayor of Johannesburg if you're not living in Johannesburg.
Yes, absolutely.
You have lived in Johannesburg before.
Oh,
so
yes,
this
I
is
was
not
born
something...
in Johannesburg. I was raised in Johannesburg. I schooled in Johannesburg. I went to university in Johannesburg. I worked in Johannesburg. I know this place.
I mean, Helen, we're not going to sit here and act like you are not good enough for the job, right? We know that you're good enough for the job, but I think there are politics in you getting the job as mayor of Johannesburg because of how Cape Town is currently run. Certain areas in Cape Town are run fantastically well. When world class doesn't begin to describe how well those areas are run, but there's some that aren't, right? And Cape Town works well because there's segregation, and that's why it's easy to run it like that. Johannesburg isn't segregated. How are you going to manage that?
You make a very bold statement about Cape Town being segregated. I live in a suburb that is totally integrated, completely integrated.
Yes, that's one or two suburbs, but you
Not
have...
one or two suburbs. I mean, absolutely everywhere. When people get a job and can earn an income, they can go and live where they can afford to live.
Afford.
Well, of course, all of us live where we can afford to live. I would love to live in Camps Bay. I can't afford to live in
But that's
Camps
why
Bay.
Cape Town is segregated, because it is made difficult for people who are from Gugulethu and Langa and Khayelitsha to then move into the suburbs. You can't tell me Cape Town is not segregated with a flat face.
You can't tell me that Joburg isn't segregated with a flat face. I mean, I'm here in the middle of Sandton. This is some of the most expensive properties. But let me explain to you a little bit of the facts of Cape Town. Cape Town has been well run for 20 years. When a place is well run and gets reliable services and the politicians are honest and they don't steal the money, then many businesses relocate to Cape Town and many people relocate to Cape Town. And while hundreds of thousands of very poor people also relocate to Cape Town because they want a better life, Cape Town is lucky enough to have very many people who can invest money, who can start businesses, and who can create jobs also coming to Cape Town. Those people are running away from Johannesburg. When people who have capital and skills come to a city, obviously property prices increase because there's a lot of competition for those properties. But also in that kind of context, people pay very high rates so that we can offer the most generous by far, free basic services package to the very poor in the city of Cape Town.
Okay, so in there you say you're running away to Joburg, running away to Cape Town and all of that. One of the other reasons that your mayoral candidacy is under
Scrutiny.
Scrutiny. The Star this morning on the headline, they said your campaign is controversial, is because you called black people who are going to Cape Town refugees. Once again, in Johannesburg, I don't think that's something that can just easily fly because, A, we're all refugees in Johannesburg because none of us are from here. So when you've made statements like that in the past, do you realize that they can be detrimental to what you want now?
Let me tell you that I'm a refugee and my parents were refugees. They came here because their lives were threatened and half my family was murdered. And that is why they were refugees in South Africa. There is absolutely no blame on a refugee for being a refugee.
But in the context of what you were saying...
The blame is on the circumstances that forced them to become a refugee. Now, the truth is that many, many people come to Cape Town because they are escaping the situation in which they live. In the Eastern Cape, hundreds of thousands of people leave for Cape Town because they want a school that works, because they want a clinic that works, because they want a chance to get a job, because they want clean water, because they want reliable electricity, because they want connectivity. And refugee is a word that you use everywhere in the world. It is not pejorative to say you are going away from something.
It is, though, when because you were referring to the black people in the Eastern Cape who've gone to Cape Town, because much like that, you can't say they just went to Western Cape. They also come to Johannesburg. My question to you is, now you want to come and be the mayor of Johannesburg, but if you are looking at black people who are coming to Johannesburg, who are here living in Johannesburg, that are not here as refugees, that's not the person you want in charge.
Why do black people hate refugees so much?
You can't ask them why we're offended by something. If it offends them, it offends them. That's not the debate here. The debate is, you didn't call the white people in Cape Town who are not from Western Cape refugees. But in that moment when you said it, you didn't.
I'm a refugee.
So do you regret the way that came out? Would you like to change that statement?
Well, the truth is that anybody who wants to create a
better life for themselves.
Anybody who wants to create offense and manufacture outrage will pick one word that isn't offensive and build it up as if it causes moral outrage. What I'm saying is the circumstances in the Eastern Cape are a total disgrace. The circumstances in Johannesburg are a total disgrace. I would call myself...
Some of the places in Cape Town are also a total disgrace.
Well, you tell me which places haven't got water, which places haven't got electricity, which places haven't got refuse removal, which places have not got...
Safety.
Well...
Gangs, crime.
Absolutely. Safety, gangs, crime. That's why we're going to fight to the Constitutional Court to get policing powers for the city of Cape Town. The national government can't run policing. It's totally corrupt. Kwanazi told us. The Madlanga Commission is listening to the evidence. It is riddled with corruption from criminal syndicates. That's why we want to control policing. The police are too controlled by the gangs themselves, by the drug dealers themselves. That's why we want to control policing. And we're going to fight till the Constitutional Court to get that power.
You see, the issue at hand is that, once again, there are areas in Cape Town where what you're saying, you're absolutely correct, and there's proof of it. But the areas in Cape Town that are not, and the optics are, the areas in Cape Town that are not are the areas that are people of color, right?
Well,
so what it looks like is that, yes, you do know how to run, municipalities.
You're pretending, Anele, that there are places all over South Africa that are poor, that are not people of color. The tragedy is, with the legacy of the past, in Johannesburg, there are ghastly areas. Drive through Alexandra and see what it looks like. It is an absolute bloody disgrace. Drive through Alexandra and see what it looks like. Those are people of color. If you go to any ANC-run municipality, people of color are worse off than they are in any DA municipality. And that's a fact. And even the president knows that.
Yeah, so what you're saying then is, the DA is bad, but not as bad as the ANC, and that's why we should vote for you.
No. The DA faces the legacy of the past. It raises a huge amount of money from the better off suburbs and cross-subsidizes to give the poor the best free basic service package in the country. It spends billions investing in infrastructure for the poor. But let me tell you something else, Anele. No government anywhere ever is going to put you in a 3-bedroom house in a garage. What government does is provides you water, electricity, sewerage, refuse removal, a school, and a clinic. And then people have to use that as a platform to get themselves out of poverty. Ask people what they are doing. How many fathers are sitting with their children, investing in those children, being role models for their children, and how many are being absent fathers? What is their responsibility? How many parents are being role models for their children, or how many are taking drugs and drinking alcohol? This is a partnership. The government provides the ladder. The parents have to hold the ladder, and the children have to climb up the ladder.
I don't dispute that, and you're right, everything you said, but I just feel like if you're using Cape Town as an example, it is just provided better to other areas than other areas.
Absolutely not. We provide much, much better to the poor than we do to the rich.
Anele and I were having this discussion, Helen, because you know what happens, and to the point of the discussion you guys were having, it's impossible for us as residents to draw distinctions between what is the municipality, what is local government, what is provincial government, and what is
Surely
national
you understand
government.
some basics.
Frankie, I understand the basics, but the point is that what happens to us is we complain, and we'll use the example of traffic lights. We'll complain about traffic lights. The
JRA
will say that this road belongs to them, that road belongs to provincial
That's provincial government. That's tossed from pillar to post.
That's exactly what happens. You know, you were mentioning clinics. How many clinics belong to the municipality versus the province versus national government?
Well, all I can say is that when I am mayor of Joburg, we will focus on the things that Joburg can run and fix them.
Is it possible, though, Helen, given the comparisons that we've made between Sandton, Alexandra, Camps Bay, Nyanga, to provide the same level of satisfaction from a city and services point of view to people in those two realities, because they exist now?
Well, it depends what people think the city can deliver. The city built none of those homes in Camps Bay, and the city has built none of the homes in Sandton. That is all private sector investment and all individual investment. It's got nothing to do with the city. The city's job is to provide water, electricity, roads, refuse removal, sewerage, some of the clinics. We don't do schools from the city. That is the provincial mandate. We don't do major hospitals from the city. That is also a provincial mandate. But if you are getting those things, the city is working for you. After that, people who advance in life concentrate on their education. You know what the most important thing in life is when you're born? You have to be born safely in a clinic where you don't get damaged at birth. Then you need 2 absolutely committed parents who will sacrifice everything for you, who will make sure that you go to a pre-primary school that has to be there, of course, that you ensure that you get all of the pre-primary education you need. You go to a state school that should be well run, that should be delivering you good education, that your parents make sure you do your homework every single day, that you go through the system without getting pregnant. And that's your responsibility and your parents' responsibility.
Well,
without
Helen,
going on to drugs.
You're getting lofty.
No, I'm
sorry.
not getting
You
lofty.
are getting lofty.
I am
All of
talking
this is
about
ideal.
a partner. It's not ideal.
No,
it's real.
all lofty. But no, we're
It's
talking granular
real.
things. The fact that you even like 2 parents. No, come on, man. You can't guarantee anybody 2 parents, right? Just stand by. Here's a voice note.
Good morning. My question will be for Helen Zille. What will she do for the Johannesburg water problem that's constantly
Well, first of all, the water and electricity crisis didn't come overnight. It came from 30 years of zero maintenance. And I must say, Anele, with great respect, your callers are asking much more sensible questions than you are, because they're asking the granular questions that have something to do with local government. Now, the first thing people need is water. You can forget about all the other highfalutin stuff. They need water. And when people don't have water because the government has never maintained the infrastructure or invested in new infrastructure, you're going to be without water. Now, we'll have to fix it bit by bit. Let's take the Hurst Hill Reservoir. There's plenty of water in the Vaal Dam. There's plenty of water that's come from the heavens, but you can't pump it into the Hurst Hill Reservoir because there's a big crack in it because it's never been maintained over 30 years. And the pipes are all broken. The city of Johannesburg has replaced 17 kilometers of pipe in a year. Do you know how little that is? Cape Town does over 200 a year and has been doing over 200 since 2006. And over 20 years, that adds up to a lot. And Cape Town has one of the lowest wastages of water in the world.
You're
One
right.
of the lowest. Joburg loses 46% of its water, almost 50%.
Cape Town is a great example
Yes.
of a well-run.
So that is
what
what
about
a local
Tshwane
government
and
has
what
to
about
do.
Nelson Mandela Bay? Are they as well-run as Cape Town?
Of course not, because it hasn't had the DA government for 20 years. That's the point.
So you're saying that
When you've had the DA government for 20
No,
years,
Helen.
you have a good place. I'm telling you the truth. You can say, oh, Helen, all you like, because I'm not playing your ideological games here. I'm talking about service delivery on the ground, which is what local government is about.
Okay.
Bottom line. And to answer I'm answering still your callers, because they're asking the good questions here.
You don't have to insult us into like
You're insulting
into putting
me,
us back.
I will
No,
insult
we're
you.
asking you good questions. We didn't insult you once. We're asking you good
I
questions.
want to tell
you don't
you,
have to get
if you
defensive.
want- I'm
you
not
don't have to get.
defensive,
You
I'm on the
are.
attack.
You
I'm on the
are.
attack.
Because the first insult
I'm
here
on
that
the
was
attack.
thrown was that none of us in this studio are asking good questions.
Well, you
You
aren't.
don't have to.
That's a fact.
This is going to be a
You don't have to be
partnership.
insulted
You
by the
don't have-
facts.
This is going to be a partnership. We run Joburg as well as you are going to.
You
People
run
is-
Joburg.
Yes, we do. We come
run
here.
your studio.
Yes, that's what we're doing. thing, Helen. If you win, we're going to be in a partnership because this is the platform that you are going to use to communicate a lot of times. So you don't have to come and insult us. Just you can don't be snarky about it. Still answer. No one here was snarky. We welcome you
insult me,
and we're great.
I will give as good as I get, and you have to understand
when did we insult you, my
with
dear?
every single sideswipe question.
No, we asked you questions.
Let me
valid
answer your
questions.
listeners. No one's interested
Super
in
flustered.
you here.
But
They're interested in the
here,
answers to my questions.
Helen, you can.
I can also leave.
Okay,
but I
you
want to answer your
can.
listeners. Okay. Now I'm going to answer your listeners. We will start a maintenance program. We will start by switching a lot of the operational budget into maintenance. Johannesburg spends less on maintenance than any other city in the country. And that is a disgrace. And that is why the poor are suffering. Because there's been no new investment in capital infrastructure and there has been no maintenance. And that is a disgrace because all the money has been siphoned off, given to cadres, turned Joburg into an employment creation hub for the ANC and its own cadres. And that is exactly why you're sitting in this problem. We can't fix it overnight. We will have a maintenance plan. We will inform you of what the maintenance plan is. We will deliver on that maintenance plan. And we will do so with experts, not deployed cadres who want to steal the money to build houses in Waterfall and to do all the other things instead of looking after people in poor areas.
Okay, so once again, then it will be a corruption thing that you're getting rid of. Let's say you are found to be involved in corruption things like the Zille Spook tenders. How do we approach that? Because you already said that that's not the vibe that you're going to go on, but it has come up. Once again, my question to you is, it just sounds like you're saying the DA is corrupt, but we're not as corrupt as the ANC. So how do you work around that when there is some sort of trail that there has been corruption in the DA?
That is hilarious, Anele. You say you're not insulting me. That is an extremely insulting
Guys,
thing
was
to
that
say.
an insult?
It is a deep insult to say that the DA is corrupt and that I'm corrupt.
No,
a deep insult.
But okay, the Zille Spook tender files
Helen,
did
just-
present corruption.
Can I just say, Anele never called you corrupt.
She says, what about the Zille corruption? So let me now answer
Zille
her question.
Spook
frankly.
tender. No, I didn't say the Zille corruption.
What is the Zille
Not-
Spook tender?
Kaloku, there was also allegations of corruption under you. So I'm saying, if that is found, because you are saying the reason you're going to be able to
I'd
run
love to hear corruption under
Johannesburg.
me. I'd love to hear corruption
Yes,
under me.
but that's what I'm saying, that you are
Give
saying
me
that the
evidence.
reason that
Give me
Johannesburg
evidence.
is not run well is because that you're right, the money does disappear. That's something you and I both agree on. But I'm saying that there are allegations of corruption within the DA.
Examples?
So would you
Examples?
Nancy, this book files the 10 is on.
Which book? Give me examples, please.
Helen, is there anything else you'd like to say before we make sure that every single time that you are here campaigning, we want to hear from you?
If you ask me a question and make an allegation, you have to substantiate it. Simple.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. There were allegations. So what I'm saying to you is...
Allegations
if
is not proof.
If there is found to be corruption within the DA, right?
Yeah.
That means that you can't do what you're saying that you are going to do.
Okay, let me give you an answer to that question, Anele. The bottom line answer to that question is you don't survive in the DA if you are corrupt. You are chopped off immediately at the neck. In the ANC, you can't survive if you're not corrupt because everybody's corrupt. So the minute someone like Babita Deokaran is not corrupt, they have to take her out. So in the ANC, you can't survive if you're not corrupt. In the DA, you can't survive if you are corrupt.
Can you survive in the DA if you're racist?
Certainly not. We're the most non-racial party there is, and we are completely judging people on their value as human beings and not the color of their skin.
Because I think that will be your biggest obstacle in getting to mayor. Once again, I led this conversation with the fact that you are very qualified to run and be mayor. I do not for a second doubt that. I just think that as a person who is living in Johannesburg, as a black person who lives in Johannesburg, black people struggle to see you wanting to forward them. Right? That's what it comes across as.
Anele, when were you elected as the spokesperson of all black people? You weren't. How can you speak for black people? I can't speak for white people.
Helen, you
I
are
am not
on
a
Twitter every day. You see what people say about you, babe. You see it. People do not trust you to have the interests of black people at heart. Please don't come here and want to like...
Twitter is not the voters' role.
You are everywhere.
Twitter is not the voters' role.
You
That
are
is the first thing you have to... Anele,
Okay, Thembekile,
you don't speak for black people. I don't speak for white people. I
speak
judge
for the
you
DA.
as an individual, and I want people to judge me as an individual.
Okay.
I bet I did more to fight apartheid than everybody sitting in the studio today.
and so did
I
the people that
absolutely
are now
did.
currently running it into the ground as well. So
Well, some of them. But no one who loves South Africa will steal its money and run it into the ground. No one.
Okay.
And I have no time for people who claim struggle credentials, get into power, and steal the people blind.
Okay.
None.